I feel compelled to always mention the beautiful sky when I drive into church in the morning, and sometimes I'll even go out of my way before I come in the parking lot just to look out there and thank the good Lord for giving me another day, and I hope you do as well. God is talking to us in so many various and beautiful ways. The difference between a saint, this is my definition, and someone else is a saint is just a lot more sensitive to God's constant communications through nature, through other people, everything, and etc. Speaking of nature, what's the greatest mountain in the world? People say Mount Everest, Nepal, Mount Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. We have our own Mount McKinley, which I have not yet seen. I'd love to go see that. I know what it is. It's Mount Zion. It's Mount Zion, known as Mount Jerusalem. It's also where the temple was, where Jesus cast out the money changers. There's another mountain right here. The Catholic Mass, the altar is always elevated. It's because the sacrifice. How about this idea? Mount Moriah. Last week you heard this, that Abraham sacrificed his son up on a mountain. It was Mount Moriah. It's Mount Zion. It's the same mountain. This is the same mountain too. Spiritually speaking, that's actually the same mountain historically, physically, geographically. Profound that Abraham took his son carrying wood up a mountain, which would be the same mountain Mount Zion would be on. So you know what happens here, right? Jesus is not protesting what they're doing, the selling of animals which were necessary for the sacrifices. The Passover brought all these people into Jerusalem. Tons of people flocked to Jerusalem. They were able to do this. It was how they were doing it. It was their corruption. It was turning what was supposed to be the most awesome meeting place to enter into God's covenants, and the latest covenant, and enter into God's presence with pure hearts and offer sacrifice to Him. Very much metaphorically to what we're doing right now. But they were cheating people. They were putting weights on the scales. They were charging too much. But I want to look at this. That certainly literally happened. But think of it also as a metaphor. As a metaphor. The temple is the center of Jewish identity. It's hard to grasp this idea. If we going 2,000 years back, we'd all vote the same way. How about that? That's a crazy concept to the United States of America. If you were a Jew 2,000 years ago and you were in temple, you all voted the same way. You all agreed on defending Israel at all costs. You were all patriots. Burning a flag to a true Israelite? Unbelievable. Not possible. No, everything was one in those days, right? Your Jewish identity superseded every other political agenda, union agenda, color of skin. It was you were an Israelite. You were a true Israelite. And that was the most important means of identifying yourself. Think about that for a second. It's hard for us to relate. You know, I mean, I grew up in an awesome parish, with an awesome parish identity. But everything was, and we did. We all voted the same. We were all Democrats back then in Chicago. Everyone was. All police, fire, everyone was in the same boat. And I don't want to get politics. I throw some of you off. We'll talk afterwards. But you get my point. It was all one for them. So Jesus, in casting out the money changers, is really condemning the festering soul of Israel. They were getting complacent. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law and the scribes were putting all these requirements on people, not helping them, not being charitable. They may have had an outward appearance of religiosity or spirituality, but inside they were decaying within. So Jesus awakens them by this action. Hey, renew your temple. Convert yourselves. Renew the leadership here. Let's get back to being true Israelites, true children of God. And they had worship, but it had no reverence. It had no reverence. So imagine this. Nobody here today because of the clock change. But does anyone come to Mass? Are there people who call themselves Christians? Who obviously those who don't worship, we'll leave them on another group. But those who do call themselves Christians, who come to worship, but do so without reverence. Again, this is generally speaking age-wise. I got to be careful now with all the PC-ness. Demographically speaking, the people at this Mass are a percentage, this much only, see how small it is? Older, can I use that word? Than the other Masses. If I did a demographic on the age of the people at the family Mass and took your age, so I expect you to have reverence. Many of you had Catholic upbringings from grammar school and had a lot more Catholic influence in your growing up and your Catholic identity. Many of you remember from being from a parish. As where are you from? I'm from St. Helens. I'm from St. Nicholas. I'm from Holy Innocents. Having said that, I suspect nobody here is worshiping without reverence, but we could imagine someone who does. So, let's look at it this way. At the consecration, I can only pick on a few of these. At the consecration, pay extra special attention. There are pious thoughts from the past that would say, put your head down, don't look up. Look up. Look up. Look past me or through me. Look at the host that's consecrated. When you hear the bells, the same with the chalice. Pray into the sacrifice being offered to the Father. Be, as Monsignor likes to say, intentional. And when you come up for communion, similarly. And if you ever lose pay attention, if you can't pay attention, your mind wanders, you get distracted, work on that. Don't come to Mass, generally speaking, unless there's something just so horrible that happened to you, you can't get over it, leave distractions. I know we're going to get them, I understand that. But as best as you can, leave them outside. Give yourself over to the worship of what's happening here. And at communion time, when you receive, go back to there's not a lot of time. I wish this was the case. I wish, my prayer for you, and it would expand your spirituality 50, 75-fold, is if you receive communion and go back to your pew, if you're not singing with a book in your hand, because if you know the words, you don't need to open up your eyes. Close your eyes. I should startle you when I read the announcements. You should be like, oh, the announcement time. But no, you're waiting on it. It's really, look, worship really requires a suspension of time, doesn't it? We have to suspend time. We do. I remember I said a Mass about 2 months ago, and a guy kept looking at his watch. I didn't call him out directly, but I just started looking at him. And I said, everyone's going to stay at Mass longer because of certain person. We got to suspend time. I know you got places to go. I know you're really important people. But this is our worship. This is what we give God. We get 168 hours a week. He goes 1 hour. Father Simon says Mass an hour and 15. That's what you give them, right? So try this, though. This is the most salutary, meritorious practice. To receive communion in a state of grace and just go back to your pew, close your eyes. And what do we do, Father? Just do one simple thing. God, I give you permission to act in me. That's all you got to do. And think holy thoughts, loving thoughts, forgiving thoughts, merciful thoughts. Do you realize God is internally, this is totally, strictly a Catholic idea. A Catholic idea, a universal idea Jesus gave us for all peoples. He wanted his house of prayer to be open to all peoples, for all peoples to come to this mountain. That's what Isaiah says. All peoples will come to this mountain and get an overabundance of goodness. He's working on you. He's calling you and me to be our best selves. So try it. Really try it. Another thing, I brought this up yesterday, dress code. And for some people, this is a lightning rod issue. I don't know why. If a teenager shows up in summer dressed inappropriately, yes, it's good that they are here. Good luck messing with them. It's going to blow up. Their parents will blow up because people don't train their kids the way they used to be trained. I'm not in favor of that, but they're here. It's a much better idea if they know why they're here. It's good that they're here, but it's a better idea if they know why they're here. This is a tangent. It's okay. We got a lot of time. We got an extra hour, don't we? Anyway, people who like diversity, I'm all for diversity. Do you know anything better than diversity? What's better than diversity? Unity. You know anything better than diversity? And you know the opposite of diversity is a joke. University. Someone got that. Thank you. Someone got it. Someone's awake. Okay, I'll get back to the homily. Somebody looks sourpuss. I'll move on. Okay, so there's another thing going on. There's something called the anonymous Catholic. You see how the Jewish person identified their whole life by being a true Israelite, by being a child of Abraham? There are some people that go to Mass. You're good people. You're very good people. You put your money in, you pay my salary, you put the lights on, you support us. But we don't get involved in ministries. We don't get involved in the larger. You got the vertical down. Oh, me and God are doing great. Well, what about the horizontal? What about relationships with their neighbors? How about evangelization? How about the corporal and spiritual works of mercy? Last evening we had confessions for the Light of the World retreat. Who is not, you've heard this since you've been here. Like over 900 people in this parish. That's a lot of people have gone through Light of the World retreat. Have you gone yet? People are loving this retreat. It's going on right now. It's awesome. The people who sponsored it, they had this Light of the World. After Light of the World, you go through it, you're invited to a small group. There are lots of small groups meeting in this parish that are awesome. And one of the groups was preparing the food yesterday. And they're preparing the food today. I ate all day yesterday. They were smiling, they were happy. I'm serious. You know, do you ever think this thought? That a lot of the joy we don't have is because we limit ourselves. If we come out of our comfort zones just a little bit, I want to give a shout out, I did it last night, I might as well do it today, to the ushers. I can pick on all kinds of ministries. The ushers, they take pride in their job. They do a good job, they're always here, always smiling. Hi, morning. How about the Knights of Columbus? There's so many ways to get involved, but get involved we must, because we should be as proud of our identity as Catholics as the Jews were. We should be a little less proud statistically, or equally, I got a lot of statistics on my mind, and being a member of St. Thomas. I'm not a priest at E. God bless the people at St. Elizabeth and Seton. God bless the people at Holy Apostles. We're members of St. Thomas Parish. We should have pride. We should get T-shirts, maybe polo shirts, proud member of St. Thomas, bumper stickers, license plate holders. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, lastly, so Jesus takes this whip and he cleans out the money changers. How about us taking a whip and chasing out of our soul the demons and the bad attitudes and the attachments to sin? It's confession season. For me, it's always confession season. And I got to tell you, folks, of all the practices that the Catholic Church gives me that brings me renewal and regeneration and joy and mental health, confession. I suspect if someone down in the dumps went to confession, they couldn't help but feel a little better. So the other day, this woman comes into confession, and all she can do is talk about her husband's sin. She rides him down one side, down the other side, on and on and on. So she leaves, and a man walks in. I said, "I'm sorry, sir. Was that your wife?" He says, "Yes, it was." I said, "In that case, your sins are forgiven."